Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to OLC TV for some more Total War 3 Kingdoms, the new Fates Divided DLC. A big thank you to CA for giving me early access. This time with our faction previews, we are looking at Liu Zhang. Now, Liu Jiang, in the 200 CE start date is where you can start with his faction. Previous, in the 194, the 190, or the 182, you actually tend to start with Liu Yan, his father. Of course, by 200, Liu Yan has died and Liu Zhang has taken over, which is why your only unique noteworthy character is Fa Zheng, who of course we know from the Liu Yan preview. He is one of the two people who was responsible for inviting Liu Bei in with the ambition to replace Liu Zhang with Liu Bei. So your noteworthy character is a little bit of a betrayer, a traitor, waiting in your court to strike. You have the same inheritance deal as you do with Liu Yan, except the difference is you're using a different part of it, where in the beginning you have to make lots of trade-offs as Liu Yan. As Liu Jiang, you spend a lot of the inheritance to give you advantages, which we'll explain as we enter the game itself. We still have the Dongjobing, which of course Liu Jiang did maintain as well. And of course we have Fa Zheng, as I said. As far as his character goes, we have the traits delayed inheritance, which means we only get a +5 melee evasion and +10% campaign movement range. This actually isn't that bad. There are worse things that could have affected us here, but because it's 200, that's the one we have been assigned by the game. Liu Jiang is incompetent, he's careless, and he's clever. Now, incompetent, careless, and clever, they don't necessarily seem like a trio that go together very well, and you're absolutely right, they really don't. He's not exactly the top tier of commanders you will ever field. However, you do get a reduction in character salary, reduction in redeployment costs, and increased faction support, which is quite nice. His background is this. Liu Jiang has a penchant for fostering talent, which is a valuable skill in itself. Although a man very much content to govern his small slice of China, destiny and the ambition of others have nevertheless dragged him into conflict, engulfing the land. Liu Jiang is less concerned with warfare and more with peaceful lives of his people. Yet war has come, and he must either face the challenges before him or face destruction instead. He is a proponent of peace, as it says here, and that is pretty much bang on the money. He starts off with a good chunk of territory here, which for reasons to do with bugs we cannot see in colour, but you just have to believe me, he has a good chunk of Izhou here. He is immediately at war with Zhang Lu, who holds Hanzhong, essentially this territory here that we need to deal with, and we have everything below. Now, above us we have Ma Teng, who historically, like, our father Liu Yan had a relatively good relationship with. Like, Liu Jiang's elder brothers were killed fighting alongside an alliance that Ma Teng was leading, and we sent troops to support him and everything else. So we should have an all-right relationship with him, and certainly something we can build up. Below us we have the Nan Man, who you definitely want to smack early and hard, at least to secure down to the river. And otherwise, the issues are, like, actually, historically, Liu Jiang took over Shu, and there was a little bit of unrest around the time of his father's death. Not because of his father's death, but around that time, which he actually managed very, very well, and Shu was relatively prosperous until Liu Bei's arrival. Liu Bei, for those of you who know the history, let his troops loose and sacked the entire province, almost burnt Chengdu to the ground, and he never really rebuilt the wealth that the province had, which meant that his armies were always short on supplies. That is what the good guy did to this province, that he would then call his home base. Anyway, Liu Jiang takes over. You have snakes in your faction that you need to manage, and you don't exactly have a warlike guy. It's an easy start because there's some places you can expand to, but it gets much harder. Enough of me talking, let's get into the game.
时势造英雄。然，英雄与奸雄，仅一线之隔。纵是天纵之才，孤掌亦将难鸣，只可为一时之杰。人尽事则，自然之理。但智者当知晓，何时应搁置野心，共图大业。弱肉强食尽，分道扬镳时。生死存亡之局拉开帷幕，终焉之战，唯有一人能笑到最后。主公自令尊过世后，承袭其领地，一直励精图治，尽展其能。然眼下又有一危局临门。张鲁自北方率众起兵，其麾下军队已然开拔，须与其迎头痛击以破之。待到吞并张鲁之地，便可继续北进。此刻，曹操与袁绍相持不下，皆欲置对方于死地，正是我军出手的大好时机。然兴兵拓土之时，您亦须兼顾后方。现如今蜀地之内有豪族煽动百姓，乱象日趋显著，需严加防范。南蛮诸部统一之时亦将到来，无论何人为其共主，为求扩张，都必将进犯主公治下，请务必布下哨岗，监视其动向。腹背基业如重担在肩，唯求保其周全。如此，方显主公不负此传承。
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are. Thank you, advisor. Bright beginnings. Lord Liu Jiang, it has been a few years since your father's passing, and during that time China has only sunken deeper into turmoil and chaos. Amidst the storm, you have slowly consolidated your power to become even stronger. The time is now to set sights on your father's ambition and achieve what even the great Liu Yan could not, to become the Emperor of all China. Now, of course, this is taking a leap with the truth greatly. Liu Yan, it said at the beginning that Liu Yan had governed these lands well. And actually, there's an element of truth to that. Liu Zhang had governed these lands well, and there's an element of truth to that. Liu Jiang is seen as incompetent because of how he is portrayed in Romance of the Three Kingdoms. He actually wasn't that bad a governor. The problem was he was living in a time of political and actual chaos, and he had no ambition, so he was always going to get wiped out one way or another. And because he did not show any real ambition, and was betrayed by really talented people who he trusted, Liu Bei and the people after had to make him seem incompetent to justify Liu Bei taking over. And that he's basically just a victim of propaganda. He wasn't as good a ruler as Liu Bei as well. I think that needs to be said. This isn't just me getting on my anti-Liu Bei horse. He wasn't as good, but he wasn't bad at all. So setting the record straight, you should engage Zhang Lu's force, for he has long been a traitor to your cause. You should suffer his antagonizing presence no longer and force him to face the consequences of his dire betrayal. So yes, here is Zhang Lu. Now, Zhang Lu was a commander under Liu Yan, and then later a vassal after he sort of declared independence here, but Liu Yan held on to his children and other members of his family as well. However, the situation has since changed, and with Liu Jiang taking over, Zhang Lu has started to get more and more boisterous, and is now no longer doing as he's told. We have some ancillaries here. We have the Steward of Changla Palace as well, because we've got so much money coming in. Yes, Shu was extremely rich before Liu Bei took over. Now, before we get into things, let's just have a quick overview of our kingdom. It's pretty good. We have Menghua and Mulu and Shamoke around us. Liu Biao, who we can maintain relative peace because he's family. And Ma Teng, who doesn't particularly think all that badly of us either. So, actually, our starting situation, we can focus. Yes, we need an army down here. But we have a chunk of land. We've just got, Shamoke, Mulu, Menghua. We can defend with one army for a period. The main focus should be up here. Now, if we have a look at our army, we have Fa Zhang, who I told you is the chief betrayer, the vindictive strategist. Nasty, nasty piece of work. Even Zhuge Liang, the great Zhuge Liang, could not control him. He was vindictive in the extreme. He executed families of people who had slighted him in the past. And we have Liu Zhang's army. Now, Liu Zhang's army, he has some Dongzhou marksmen, and he has the Dongzhou defenders, who are pretty damn good troops. Got a decent small unit of cavalry there, and more archers. Lots and lots and lots of bows. Of course, this area was famous for bows. The Dongzhou as well, for those of you who haven't seen my Liu Yan playthrough, Dongzhou means Eastern Province, Bing means army. But there's no Dongzhou, there's no Eastern Province. What that means is these are refugees from the chaos in the East coming over to settle in Shu because it was a place of relative peace. And they were formed into an army that basically was loyal to the Liu governors at the time. In our other army down in the south here, led by Ma Yue and who's this one? Zhu Guay. Now, Zhu Guay was... he's sort of slighted slightly in how the game portrays him here. Actually, he's slightly better off with these stats. But he was a bureaucrat who failed to crush some non-Han rebellions, sort of up here-ish and over here-ish and like around the area, and was eventually transferred to the northeast, where he became extremely well known for a series of defenses. So he's there. Ma Yue, I have to say, I have done a fair bit of looking about this guy, and I have got a lot of cockle with details exactly as to who he was. So I have a feeling he is just a romance character who they've brought in. There's no historical truth behind him, but I may well be wrong with that. If I am wrong, please let me know in the comments below. In our court, we've got Wang Lei. Wang Lei's quite a funny guy. Wang Lei is super loyal to Liu Jiang, and he does not like the fact that Fa Zhang and Zhang Song, who we can just see down here, are trying to invite Liu Bei in. He thinks they're setting Liu Jiang up for betrayal, and he protests. And the way he protests is that he has himself hung upside down from the gates that Liu Jiang will exit out of as a form of protest. Of course, he wasn't listened to, which is a real shame. But yeah, he's very funny. Dong He was, honest and fair. Absolutely right here, honest and fair. Zhuge Liang said when he died, there was nothing left of value in his entire household. He'd given everything away. He was an administrator, a local administrator, and he upset a lot of legalists within the province by being just good, like really good, completely not corrupt, seeing the good in all people. He gave away all of his spare wealth to everyone in his area, even though they were quite well off compared to other parts of China, just to keep everyone fed and doing well. Great fair man. We of course have the mother, and I believe that's the wife for Liu Zhang. We have Chue, who's another one I don't know a huge amount about. I think he's just random. Fan Min, who came in, literally he's just the administrator of Ba. And Zhang Song. And Zhang Song, as I told you before, was part of this betrayal system. He was a friend of Fa Zhang, and had also been sent as an envoy to Cao Cao many, many times. His brother had also been sent on envoy to Cao Cao and had been awarded positions by Cao Cao, but they were getting nothing. They weren't getting exactly what they wanted from Cao Cao, so they decided to change their attention to Liu Bei. They persuaded Liu Jiang to invite Liu Bei in to deal with Zhang Lu, but of course he didn't, and he turned around and he came back, and the rest is history. Anyway, they are the people in our court. It's not exactly a collection of talented people, but you are in a position here to attract it. As I said with the Liu Yan one, you are in a position to attract talent. Other than that, we have in aspiration. So we no longer have the options of aspiration here. We have the inheritance side of it in total, which isn't unlocked until he hands over. And as you can see, we've got 600 aspiration here that we can spend on any of this stuff. And this will give us benefits. So you can see 15 turns here, plus 35% movement range, plus 20 morale. For 60, that's not bad. Tutelage instantly levels up the character, Arsan commissions, whatever. But you have to complete certain missions when Liu Yan's alive to unlock these. And as I showed in Liu Yan's one, we completed one and it sort of unlocks it, but you still can't do it until Liu Zhang takes over. But yeah, so these ones are a write-off. We will never be able to use these because it wasn't done when the AI theoretically was playing Liu Yan before handover. So we only have these ones available to us, but some of them are really good. Economic stimulus, this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. Private tutelage instantly levels up a character. You do have a cooldown, like 20 turns I think is... no, you get 10 turns as well and 15. But yeah, like 10 to 20 turns. So they're really quite useful. On this side, you've got someone who's going to be really, really pissed off. So if you can give him stuff just to shut him up for a minute, that'll be quite nice. And other than that, over in the court, we do have a lot of stuff to be able to do because we're a second marquee, but we have the ability to add, like for example, a Grand Excellency. If we were to say here, Fajiang, come in here, be Grand Excellency. This would then give us the option for our faction council here, and we can also add a Grand Commandant. But faction councils have changed. You're only allowed to make one decision per year, effectively. And let's say if you have all of these, you see here he has 2 options. If you have all of these filled, that gives you 10 options, but you can only pick one. It doesn't matter how many people you have on the council, you can only pick one. And as you can see, they give 2 different sets of benefits for potentially a cost. Here we can get a new character for 500, or we can get a new trade agreement with Ma Teng. Click that, trade agreement is automatically done. It's magnificent, all sorted. Okay, so that's a new system there. We also have the Imperial Intrigue. Now the Imperial Intrigue is something that really needs a let's play to show it off to the highest levels. But you will get missions from the Emperor potentially if you have the right relationship as well. It'll certainly give you more options. But what you can do here, if we would say increase favor, we can increase favor. Here, Ma Teng will get plus 15 Imperial favor at a cost for us to get 5, were we to do that. I don't know why we would potentially give him that, except to boost faction-wide satisfaction within his court, for example. But for us, were we to do it for us, see here, our Imperial favor gives us plus 2 satisfaction, plus 2 diplomatic relations, plus 2% corruption. Were we to jump this up to 65, you can see we get plus 4, plus 5, and minus 4. There are benefits to doing this. That if you get hit with a decreased favor too often, it starts to knacker. Like absolutely. Here, if we're gonna do this, boom. See here, he now has minus 4 satisfaction, minus 5 dip with the hand, and plus 4 corruption. You can really start to play. There you go, political maneuvering, honeyed words. You can really start to play with other factions' ability to operate on a diplomatic stage. It's absolutely magnificent. Anyway, enough of me talking. Let's show off our new troops in Baby's first battle here. It's Yang Ren. Smash his brains in. So, in we go. I'll see you in the battle. Okay, so here we are. Let's have a nice look at our troops. Starting with our advanced deployed Dongzhou Bing marksman. See, decent amount of leather, saber, bows. They're not the worst at melee, but it does say poor in melee for a reason. You don't want to be getting them to a fight, even though they have a nice shiny saber. They are, however, pretty good marksmen. Really good marksmen, decent amount of ammo as well. These guys behind, similar powered bow and everything else. but these are your melee types. They've got a shield, they've got slightly better armor, they've got spears, they've got a lot less ammo, I should state as well, a lot less ammo, but they are very solid troops. They also have a lot of formations. These guys, of course, are just basically glorified archers, as you can see. Other than that, if we slide all the way back, we can see Liu Jiang, who we know already, and here we go. Here is Fa Zhang with his fan. Now, Fa Zhang, actually, statistically, can fight. Give him a weapon, he's got 20k health, he has Wisdom of the River, of course, but Mock. Now, this is quite dangerous. Minus 10 morale, minus 20% attack rate, 12k damage over 60 seconds. That ain't bad. That really isn't bad. He is one of those strategists that is more sentinel than you'd perhaps think at first glance. He is really quite cool. I'm going to put my Dongzhou Bing there. Going to have you guys here because, frankly, if you guys die, it doesn't matter so much. You're here, and you guys are going to try and screen as best you can. We're going to lose some archers in this, which is sort of to be expected. They have to come at us. They've got no other option here. This man, he might be utterly talentless enough to duel, even with someone as shocking as Liu Zhang. You do actually have missions when you are Liu Yan. You have missions, and one of them is to duel. So it is worth getting him ready to duel. And he's a commander, so he's not that shocking. He could be a lot worse. Advance, guys. Advance. Take the hit. There we go. He's done it. He took the hit just in time. Break, boys. Break, boys, break. Get in there. Fa Zhang, in you go. I wonder, can I use this in a duel? I've never tried this before. Did that work? No. Come here. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Come over here. Can we use this in a duel? Oh, no, we can't. Oh, well, it was worth a try. Sometimes you get those things that work in duels, and sometimes you get those things that don't. Well, there we go. Liu Jiang, kill him. You, kill him. Spears. Break. In you go. Our cavs run, but they should come back. We've got these guys over here just by having so many spears all over them. Cav, get your ass back here. Come on, sort your lives out. I know you're militia, but you're better than that. Liu Jiang, you can come over here and fight. We'll leave that to Fa Zhang to chase down. Just need these guys to break, and then we've won this mission. And it's all ours. But yeah, that's the Dongzhou being in action. Not the best showing off of what they can do. Cavalry against spears, there's only ever going to be one winner. But you can see it's a lot of archer fire that you can put down. It's a shame about Fa Zhang's thing. I wanted to try that out, but now everyone knows that you can't do that in a duel. Sometimes some of the strategist stuff does work, but that, I guess, because it does direct damage, won't work. But I was trying to drop his attack rate more than anything else. Nice. There we go, lost 97. They barely lost anyone. Take the replenishment and move on. Baby's first battle done. Taste of victory. Taking back what's ours. We need to take Ba back. And so basically that's just a march straight in there. And thank you very much. Boom. There we go. We lost some Imperial favour because we're fighting someone who has a positive favour. And we're on the path to glory. And now we just need to recruit troops. And then we're on to a winner. Now, as you can see, we've got Shenyang over here. We've got Bashi that needs taking. I think the capital is here. We need to smash all of these guys. Shenyang is left on its own here. If you can quickly slide over and take it, that's great. But it takes a good few turns to get over and back. So it might be more advisable to go and smash Hanchang, raise an army at Hanchang, and then swing back here and deal with this. At least that's what I would do. This pass, by the way, if you can take it, is worth it. 8,000 though, but it's worth it, because passes will hold forever. Down here, you have a couple of routes. This route here, and this route here, that need to be watched, which means you need one mobile army going across. It's difficult to launch an offensive with so few soldiers in this area, and my advice would be to deal with Zhang Lu first. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from me. I really hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please drop a like and subscribe down below, because we will be doing playthroughs of this in the very, very soon future. Thank you very much for joining me. Bye-bye.